Hey, 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 y'all. Happy Juneteenth. So, in case y'all didn't know or fully understand, Juneteenth is a celebration of the time that it was announced that slavery had ended and that Black people in the United States were technically legally free. It took a couple of years for the message to come all the way through, but Juneteenth marks the date that it finally found its way to Galveston, Texas, where the rest of our enslaved ancestors were. But the reality is that announcement of freedom hasn't made it all the way in. It hasn't made it down to the cellular level because basically we ain't all the way free, y'all. And the reality also is that our ancestors survived systems. They survived the system that was created to keep us enslaved, to keep us oppressed. And we are here to heal the imprints left by those systems. And if we look at what's going on in the world, the systems still exist. The systems are trying to reactivate and regain strength to oppress everyone else. And let me also be clear, because I'm coming to y'all with ancestral downloads and we're going to get into it, but I just want to set the foundation of what we're talking about. Nobody's free until everybody is free. And these are the words of Mama Fannie Lou Hamer, who fought for us, who suffered for us to be able to vote, to be able to participate in the democratic process, which, some of us didn't participate in, but we are where we are, and we got to start with where we are and move forward from there. So to be clear, I keep saying to be clear, but that's how I'm feeling, and that's the vibe that I'm getting from my people that I work with, is that they want clarity. They want you to be clear. They want you to hear them clearly. Your own people, not mine ain't trying to talk to you. Your ancestors are trying to talk to you, but you're the pivot point. We're the pivot point. We are here right now at this time because not only did we choose to be here at this time, our soul had an assignment to do at this time, both for humanity in terms of providing and giving, but also for the soul's own evolution in terms of learning. And there was work to complete, or there is work to complete. So we were also sent here by our ancestors to complete the job that they started. So we want to be really clear about that, and that freedom is not something that's handed to us. It's something that we have to claim. And like I just said, Fannie Lou Hamer let us know ain't nobody free until everybody free. The threat to democracy, let's leave politics out of it. The threat to our freedom, our liberation, our for real, true liberation, not the facade of it, not the emotional pacifying of it, but for real liberation to be and walk this earth as the divine human beings that we all are. That liberation must be claimed, and it starts internally, and finds its way to the outside. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Juneteenth and the concept of liberation and freedom and the role that we have to play into that, and understanding that it's ancestral, it's karmic. Everything that we see happening around us in the world, in the United States, that feels like it's distant from us, it is not. It will be before us at our doorstep before we know it. It's already at our doorstep, but sometimes it takes a while for us to fully feel it because we've been used to being in oppressive situations for so long. But our ancestors want us to know that it is time for us to pick up the baton and to carry forward what they started. That's why everything that's happening is ancestral, both the enslavers and colonizers' ancestors, as well as ours. There's a battle going on, honey. We fighting for Wakanda right now. And it's happening, and we are the ones on the ground that have to do our parts in that. So we're going to talk about that. Ancestors got a message, and the other part of it is that individually and personally, we're called to break cycles. We're called to break cycles in our own families, in our own bloodlines, in our own lineage. And it may feel like those things are separate. Your personal healing is separate, but it's not. Your personal healing, your own family healing, your healing your intergenerational cycles and those generational patterns and those karmic patterns and those karmic debts, all of it is connected. The micro, our individual, is connected to the macro, the collective. And so We got work to do, y'all. But also, we're going to do it in love and joy. But let me take a pause for the cause and tell you who I am. In case you're new here, I am Barbara Ohuninifa. I am an author. I have two books. You can find more about them in my description and all the places. I'm an ancestral strategist. So in my corporate career and my former life, I shall say, strategy was just my jam. Understanding where we're trying to go and coming up with a plan in order to get there. What are the different things that we need to do to get there? And it's the same in how I work with my ancestors, and that's how they work with me. And we're not doing things all willy nilly, although sometimes you just got to go with the flow. But still, there's a plan, there's a framework, there's a process, there's protocol. Spirit world is has an ebb and a flow, but it also has a structure. It has a process and a way of evolving us individually as souls and collectively as humanity. So that's my jam. I've created a new course. I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end, but I do want to mention it. It's called Your Soul Knows the Assignment. And it's all about helping people to decode their own karmic patterns and understand their soul contract so we can walk that path with clarity and focus and courage. Because sometimes, and oftentimes, and most times, it takes courage to do what you came here to do because we forget what that is. And I wanted to mention that because it starts in a week. My ancestors gave me that start date of June 26th because they wanted it to start a week after Juneteenth. So while we celebrate the liberation, the physical, political, legal liberation, and I won't even, and I'm putting those quote marks in the air because it wasn't even fully political and it wasn't even fully legal. And all those aspects that they fought for, our ancestors fought for and survived through, are very tenuous. We take for granted our freedom and our liberation, but the things that are going on in the United States in 2025 let us know that it is not a guarantee and it is something we have to continuously claim as we claim our own liberation internally. So that's why they wanted us to start the 26th, because we're thinking about freedom and liberation as a whole. And part of that is facing and understanding why you're here, what your assignment was. And they were, it's funny, it's like 92% of us knew the assignment in November. And now it's time for all of us to know our own soul's assignment that the soul knows, but we got to connect and have that communication with our soul so we can know why we're here and we can work in partnership instead of working against our soul. So I just want to mention that up front. We'll talk a little bit more about it later. Schedule a vibe check call if you want to learn more about it and also to see if it's something that is for you at this time, that is for you and that can help you along your path. But today, what we're talking about is Juneteenth, and we're talking about freedom, and we're talking about our own personal freedoms and why the freedom that we're fighting for, it ain't just ours, y'all. So let's get into it. About Juneteenth. So let's talk about Juneteenth. Right now, or at least the last couple of years, it's been something that was celebrated. We had the cookouts, we do the memes, we got was it red velvet cupcakes in the break room and red velvet ice cream at colonizing as Walmart. But and that's when it became a marketing strategy, it became a marketing campaign. I don't know. We're not seeing much of that this year because of the current administration we're under. But what we're seeing is the true face of how they really feel, how the colonizers really feel, how the structures that we live under really feel. And and while it announces Juneteenth was about announcing the day that we got free, it's really about the day that the last of us found out that we were free. And that was basically freedom delayed and it's freedom distorted. What we living in now is freedom distorted because it's not really about freedom, and it's been freedom that's been dishonored and is really, because it's under threat, being dishonored now. And so we did what we were told to do. We showed up, many of us showed up at the polls. We exercised that right that people like Fannie Lou Hamer, who I mentioned earlier, fought for, got beat for, came within literally an inch of her life for. We showed up at the polls and we exercised that right to vote. We did the thing. But what happened anyway? Whether they stole the election, I think we all know what popped off. the reality is a lot of folks still went to the polls and voted in the other direction. And a lot of our folks did not even show up. A lot of folks did not show up, just thinking that this wasn't going to make a difference. I think we might all feel a little bit differently now. But the point is, here with Juneteenth, we look around and we celebrating the freedom of our people, or the announcement of the freedom of our people, or the announcement of the perceived political and legal freedom of our people. I put all these qualifiers on there. But what we are approaching as a nation, and that ridiculousness is spreading globally, we're approaching and are in, well, I won't say we're fully in it, but we right there, authoritarianism, where the political structure and everything that we live in terms of the system, is all about authority to one regime and the extraction or the elimination of personal freedoms. I want you to really understand what that means. That means everybody enslaved. Just like our ancestors didn't have personal freedoms to come and go, to live, to flourish, to basically live their own God-given rights to live, to thrive, to exist. That ideology that allowed a certain group of people, those groups of people, to enslave another group of people, not just for a little while, but for hundreds of years, y'all, traveling all over the world. We were the initial global trade system. We were the thing that was getting traded. Human commodities, human trafficking. We were the commodity, y'all. These people were human traffickers, and we were the humans that were getting trafficked. We were the humans that were providing currency and wealth and labor and ingenuity that built the wealth of the nations that we see around the world. But I digress. Let me get back on what we actually talking about. All these things that were created, that we see around us, that were created on our backs, and a system that is not and will not protect us. And went to the polls, we showed up, we voted, 92% Black women, I'm gonna keep saying that, showed up, and we spoke. Women were speaking out. We had a Black woman as an alternative. And still, what happened? We ended up here because America did not want a Black woman in power. So as we think about that this Juneteenth, what does that mean for us as Black people? What does it mean for you individually? What does it mean for us as a collective of people who are descendant from those who lived, who died, who built everything that we see, who were the currency, the labor, the ingenuity, the brilliance that fed into everything that we see? By everything we see, we're talking about the economic systems. We're talking about the wealth that actually created the White House, the wealth that actually created some of the richest families in the world. What does that mean when we say and see that this country would have rather have chaos, what we have now, than have a Black woman in charge? That means we still ain't free. It really means we were never actually fully free. So what do we do with that? We got a lot of options, but what's happening is that we see a lot of folks calling for us to help us, Black folks, those who know oppression, those who know the struggle, to help and to fix it. And we know it's not our job to fix it. We are not an emergency plan. We are not the ones you come to fix your own mess, especially when you were told to begin with that there was a mess coming. But who we actually are our ancestors' wildest dreams. We are the answer to our ancestors' prayers. We are the continuation of the fight our ancestors started. That's what we are. That's what we show up as. That's who we show up as. And that's part of the message that we have for them. And, that delay of message, that delay of the message of freedom, back then we were denied our humanity. And today we're expected to earn it. to earn our humanity by proximity to whiteness or by denying our own selfhood, by spiritual exhaustion, all these things that our ancestors are saying, no, you're not doing that. If you did it before, you're not doing it anymore. You're not going um, to succumb to what it is they're trying to do, which is bring back an even more aggressive form of the slavery we already been under. I just published a article on Medium talking about Juneteenth, really getting into some of the imprints that, I spoke of earlier in this video, the imprints from the systems that we've had to live under. And in that article, I talk about the 13th and the 14th Amendment. I really need Black folks, I really need you to understand that those amendments to the Constitution are not so locked in stone that they could never be eradicated. Those are the amendments that gave us citizenship and the amendment that abolished slavery under certain conditions. Understand that. 13th Amendment abolished slavery unless as punishment of a crime. Hence the prison industrial complex. Hence the ICE raids putting people into detention centers that are privately run and making them work and paying them what? $1 a day for 8 to 12 hours of work a day in order to earn money to make a phone call that they got to pay for. Things like that. You have to understand the foundation and the legalese before you go chatting off talking about it's not our fight. Because again, Mama Fannie Lou Hamer let us know until everybody's free, nobody's free. They test in the waters to see how much further they can take it now. So it's coming, it's at our doorstep, but some of us are not seeing it. Some of us ain't looking through the peephole. Some of us ain't realizing that the vampires is at the door. I got a short where I talk a little bit about that. But I mean, this is it's real. And voting is a part of the strategy, but it's not the total strategy. But we got to do that too. We got to hit every aspect of the system in order to continue the work that our ancestors started. It calls for something deeper. It calls, by it, I mean this moment, this time that we're in. It calls for liberation from the inside out at the soul level, at the cellular level. Ancestors are in our DNA. They want us to be completely free, and we can't fake like we free. They know the real. Spirit knows the real. Spirit knows we still hiding in a little box. Spirit knows we're still carrying the pain, the karma, the trauma from all the hundreds of years of suffering and of torture that our ancestors went through. And I've spoken about it before. Epigenetics lets us know it's Google it. I've been talking about it so much. I talk about it in my book that it is literally how trauma impacts the expression of your DNA for generations to come. So what our ancestors experienced, we're still experiencing it in our bodies, or the impacts and the imprint of that in our bodies. And in that Medium article that I mentioned, I talk about shame because that is something that that has really impacted us and continues to impact us even today. The shame from what we experienced and what we have been getting told for generations upon generations about who we were, and then being separated and lied to about who we actually were or are, being separated from our history, our culture, our people, our ways of living, our ways of worship, our ways of moving through the life, through this life as spiritual beings, being separated from all of that so that we would not know who we were and who we are and would assume that they knew better than us. But it is not the truth. And our ancestors want us to know that it is not the truth. So, some of the things I know y'all sick of, and I hear it all the time, especially Black women. I hear them say, "We warned y'all," or what is the F, or FAFO? Fuck around and find out. Did I get that acronym right? But you get my point. But we organized, we showed up, we did things, and still here we are. Black women, and as in general, Black folks did our part. We did our job. We understood the assignment before it hit the group chat. Speaking of group chat, we didn't need a signal to get the group chat. We got it telepathically group chat. So we all got the assignment before it even got to that. And we put our minds and our bodies and our effort and our dollars on the front lines to prevent what we're seeing now happening. We showed up like our ancestors showed up. We did the thing and we told them and they ain't listen. So now it's like, oh, now you want me to help? Now you want us to come and do a thing? Now you criticizing us because we said this ain't our fight? I feel you. I feel you. And then they want to help again, but they never have our backs. Black women in particular are the most unprotected group on this planet. Now, some of you have seen some of the videos going around of a white or just a non-black man just verbally insulting and accosting black women, and a group of black men sitting there laughing. I saw another video on TikTok the other day of a sister who was getting harassed by a white man and his little girlfriend at the gym, just straight up harassed to the point where she had to pick up a weight and said, "Get the fuck up off me." There were black men in the gym, not saying a damn word. And I bring that up to just understand how as black women we're always the first one that people come to when they need something, when they need aid, when they need support, when they need nurturing or nourishment even, when they need to move forward, when they need to bring people together to fight a cause. But who got our backs? So I feel you in that. All of that and being the most unprotected. And the fact that y'all did not want, and by y'all, y'all, you get what I'm saying when I say y'all, when I'm talking to black women, and when I say y'all, them other ones, they, let me get the terminology right. They didn't want a black woman in office. They didn't want a black woman president. They would rather deal with what we're dealing with now. And a lot of the people, some of the people who voted for what we are experiencing now look like us. I'm just saying. And they chose incompetence over embodied brilliant leadership. They chose patriarchy over true leadership, which this country, this world, this planet is craving, a true matriarchal type of leadership. Ain't nobody saying take over and the women gonna take all over, but the suppression that has been happening of black women, of feminine energy has gone on too rampant for too long. So I get your frustration. I get you. And I'm tired too. And honestly, I get that it feels like it's not our fight. But also, there's another story there that my ancestors are on me about, which is where we're going with this conversation. And that feeling is valid. It's sacred. We've been through so much. I mean, I'm being funny, but all our life we had to fight. But damn, that's the black woman's plight. That is what it has felt like. Our mamas had to fight, our ancestral mamas had to fight, great great grandmama and them had to fight, sometimes literally just to survive. And we give thanks that they did. We give thanks to whatever fight they were able to muster up and do, whether they won the fight technically or not. The fact that we are here and we have a chance to continue that fight, whatever that fight was, and to heal the impact of whatever those situations were, we give thanks to our ancestral mothers for existing. That's all you had to do. That's all they had to do is exist. And we acknowledge their existence and we give thanks for that. But the thing is, we tired, we pissed off, we refuse to put our bodies on the line again, but still your soul came here for a purpose. Your soul came here on purpose. It wasn't just an accident. It wasn't just, oh, by chance you just happened to be here. You're here for a purpose doing all of this shit. You are here for a purpose. Humanity needs you. Humanity needs you. Your people need you. Your ancestors need you. Your bloodline needs you. And I want you to take a deep breath, because it's not about pressure. It's not about more things you have to do. It really starts with yourself internally. All right, I get it. I get it. It's just so much and it can be overwhelming. But you take moments and you breathe deeply. You get in nature. If you can't meditate, I have meditation videos or audios on this channel that you can listen to. And I'm bringing those things up because I want you to have resources to keep yourself grounded, to keep your nervous system calm, or to get your nervous system calmer so that you can do what your soul came here to do. And of course, that's part of what the course is about. That's a big part of what the course is about. That's why the course that I've created is called Your Soul Knows the Assignment. But there's so much to unpack with that. There's so much to unpack to understand who you truly are, because that's the first step. Now, in terms of all of those frustrations and where we are, and ancestors have been peeking in along the way as I've been talking, but they definitely want to be clear. And here's the main point of all of this. They want us to understand who we are as a people. They want you to understand who you are. And I don't just mean your name or your title or the things you do or like to do, but what role you play on this planet. And it's that serious. Your presence here is that important. Do you know how easy, or let me reverse that, how hard it is to get born? There's a lot of things that have to line up and be in place for you to arrive on this planet. And the fact that you are, your ancestors want you to know that is not an accident. And no matter how you may feel about yourself, your gifts, your talents, your skills, what you can contribute, what you've been through and who you've been before, mistakes you've made, they say even all of that had a purpose. The trauma that you've been through had a purpose. And those are hard truths to look at, but they are encouraging you to look at it. And I'm not just delivering the message to y'all. I'm delivering the message to myself too, because that's how my people work. They tell me to start talking so they can talk through me. They still tell me to start writing so they can write through me. It is incredibly important that you go in and know who you are so that as you move through the world, you move from that knowingness, not what these people have told you you are. Not even what has been passed down through the trauma in your family of who you have been told you are. Because unless they did all of their healing, which is not likely, what they were passing is more trauma. Maybe with all the best intentions in the world. So that's why, again, it's important for you to go in. And we've been hearing this for ages. The proverb out of Kemet, to know thyself, written across the entry of one of the temples there, or several of the temples there, to know thyself. That's the mission. That's the first gate. That's the first step of knowing your soul's assignment. You got to know who you are first. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The light and the shadow. I have a video here. It's a short video just talking about that dark hallway that we avoid. Stuff that we don't want to deal with, we just throw it over in that hallway or in that closet. So many bones and skeletons in there from our own life and from our ancestors' life. That's the stuff we got to pick through, because part of who we are, we can find there. Part of some of our strengths can only fully materialize in our lives and manifest in our lives when we face the parts of ourselves that we avoid, when we face the hard things that we've experienced and really try to understand what it came to teach us. Because nothing is done to us, things are done for us, as difficult as that may be to accept and to hear. Because some of us have been through some horrific things in this lifetime. But your ancestors want you to know that you are loved and you are worthy and you are important and you are here as the answer to their prayers. You are here to continue the bloodline in whatever way, just your existence is continuing the bloodline, and to help create a new world. Because right now we in some rough waters of birthing as this planet and this country, or this land, I should say, because the country, but it's the land, it's the planet, it's the earth that we're more concerned about, and humanity that is a part of that experience, that is a part of earth. We are here to help doula the birth of this new world. We are here to lay the foundation for what is to come, while at the same time healing from what was. Because the only way to create what is to come is to heal from what was and use the energy from all of that to create going forward. That's the ancestral message. All of this that I'm saying right now. So the courage that they had to make it through, to live, to survive, they want you to have that same courage. They want you to have the same sense of community where there was no one that was going to be left behind. And do we have other groups, other ethnicities who have not been there for us as a people? Absolutely. But not the entire culture. I'm not going to use the word race because that's a construct, which is part of the problem. We have to think about this as humanity. Humanity. And as the original, the first people on this planet, Black people, the first woman on this planet that gave birth to all of it, a Black woman. We need to look around and see everything around us as our offspring. I'm not telling you to go mammy for nobody, and ancestors are not telling you to go mammy for nobody, but to look at everything that we're seeing. And when we get an inspiration, and when we get a inkling of who we are and our soul's assignment, we know part of that is to help reform, reshape, and to guide humanity to elevation, to healing as a whole. I've said on this channel before, and that has come from them as well, humanity has been doing horrible things to themselves and to each other for millennia. That has all created this karmic backlog that has to be resolved. Because ultimately, spirit, universe, God, creator, all the names and concepts that we have for that force that created everything and that keeps everything alive, its whole thing is that middle balance point. And if humanity has been going this way too far, too long, into all of the negative lower vibration energies and actions and thoughts and behaviors, we as the original people on the planet have to tip the scales in the other direction. We are the ones our ancestors prayed for. And we're here to answer the call. And you're here to answer the call. And the only way to get to what that call is for you is to go in, to understand literally in your own family, your own bloodline, your own experiences, your own past lives, what's the karmic debt there? What's the karmic archetypes? What's the patterns that you came here to unravel and to heal? You got to explore some things. And if mama and them or daddy and them ain't telling the stories of the family, you're going to have to dig on your own. You're going to have to leapfrog over them, connect with your ancestors that are eager to talk to you. And by talk, I'm not talking about anything scary where you're going to be hearing voices unless that is your gift to actually hear. If that's your clair, then that's cool too. Or if your clair is to see. But I'm literally like synchronicities, messages, things that will show up for you in a consistent, clear way to let you know that there's your people talking to you. They are eager to talk to you. I'll say the phrase that I used to hear all the time: ancestors are clamoring for your attention because they want to help guide you to the path that you came here to resolve, to walk, to heal, to master. Take a deep breath. I'm going to let my shoulders drop and let them be complete. So check in with your body. See how you feel right now. If any part of that message resonated with you, then it's definitely for you. Your ancestors are definitely, and your own higher self, your soul is saying yes. If you're feeling that, listen to it, lean into it. So my course begins on June 26th. You can schedule a vibe check call so we can chat for 20 minutes to understand if this course is for you or any of my coaching or anything else is for you, or I can just give you resources. Most of the time when I get on these vibe check calls, your people start talking through me. I'm listening to you and I'm hearing you and it comes through. So no, it is not a free reading. But the reality is the people that need to be in this course are very specific people, and your ancestors are the ones, my ancestors and your ancestors are the ones who decide who's going to be in the class. And so we do the vibe check call, and ancestors are, are we good? Are we good? Do we want to? Is she ready for it? Are they ready for it? Are we going to really do the thing? So anyway, that's what you do. You schedule the vibe check call, but I just want to reiterate, it's not just about joining the course or taking advantage of any of the offerings that I have. When it comes down to it, I just need you to check in. Your people need you to check in, and not just every now and then. We are in go time right now. This is not the time for some cute ancestral veneration scenarios. This is time to do the work because it's real. I have a video here on YouTube about well, I did a 28-day ancestral activation where every day I was here going live and honoring different ancestors, whether it was telling you how to work with your ancestors. That was the first week. And I would definitely recommend you go back and look at that. I'm going to leave the playlist in the description. All of the weeks actually, but the first week in particular was about your own sacred lineage, your own people, and talking about different ways and why it was so important. And then there's a meditation visualization at the end of each one to help you connect with your people. I would definitely recommend you look into that, tap into that. But then the rest of that series, we honored different ancestors, community ancestors, whether it was ones who helped us to create shields, meaning the resources, the political resources, the hoodoo, the protections that we needed to help us, especially the financial ones. That was, shield was a big part about that. The sacred shield, so that was its own week. Another week was the sacred resistance, so the ones who fought, the ones who led the uprisings. And what brought to mind in particular, the reason why I'm even mentioning this series anyway, is the Haitian Revolution. There was one of the days that we went deep on that and talked about the Haitian Revolution and how the Haitian Revolution kicked off with a ceremony, with a ritual that invoked spirit, that invoked ancestral spirits, that invoked whether it was, all of the different, whether it was Orisha or Abasun or Loal, who helped to fight. And that ritual was kicked off by a man and a woman, sacred masculine and divine feminine, launched that fight, which was the only successful uprising fight for liberation that has been seen, period. And so I would suggest you go back and look at that. But my point is, and the reason why that came to mind, or my ancestors brought that to mind, because I wasn't even about to talk about that, is that we have to understand that the fight for liberation on any level begins in the spiritual realm. So you got to tap in. You got to tap in. And it does not matter what your spiritual practice is, you have ancestors. Many of our ancestors, especially in the US, practiced Christianity, our own form of Christianity. They weren't Christian white nationalists, but they practiced Christianity. Lean into that, but the true form of it, don't be brainwashed. But the point, your ancestors are clamoring for attention. Tap them for the wisdom. Tap them to help guide you to why you came here, why they prayed you here, because they did. They prayed you forward. and you're here. Even if you're struggling, times are hard and they trying to make it even harder. But no, our ancestors have been through so much worse. And that's not to make you feel guilty or bad about feeling the way you feel, but to know you have within you a reservoir of strength and resilience that you don't even know about yet, that goes so deep and is so powerful that them people are afraid of it. And all your ancestors want to do is to help you. Your honorable ancestors want to help you. We all have ancestors that maybe are not quite so honorable. So that's why we always use that word. And again, go to that first week of the ancestral activation and you will learn more about how to do that. If you don't already, you might have your own ancestral practice. Lean in is all I'm saying. But schedule a vibe check call so we can see how else I might be able to help you or what other resources I can give you. I've already given you a few that are here on YouTube that you can tap into for free, honey. That was the whole point. And me following my direction and following my soul assignment. You think it was easy showing up live every day for 28 days in a row? That was my sacrifice, but that was also my offering. And so take advantage of it. Check into that, click into that, and click into the link in the description so you can sign up for a vibe check call and we can talk about it. Again, the class starts June 26th. So you want to talk to me, holler at me before that. But even if you're seeing this or you can't talk to me before that, you can't set up the schedule before that, do it after. Because if you need to join the class late, I'll jump you in. I'll give you some resources so that you can catch up to wherever we are. But the point is, if you call to do the work, whether it's with me or on your own or somebody else, just do the work. We need everybody on deck. Everybody on deck as your authentic, true self. Because the reality is, if we don't take any action, if we don't do that, this loop is going to keep looping. The cycle going to keep cycling. And I'd be damned if our ancestors will lose the traction, the liberation, the rights that they fought for. And yeah, I say our ancestors because if we lose it, they lose it too. And if we don't step up and stand up now, that's what will happen. And I know you're saying, but we stood up in November. Baby, there's more. Again, go back to some of the videos that I've already shared here, both that ancestral activation as well as Black Women Are Dope as Fuck series. Every ancestors will say, and I think it was more in the ancestral activation, when we look at their work, every one of them had a philosophy of that our liberation has to be multifaceted. You cannot just passively show up at the polls. And if you did show up at the polls, that's beautiful. That's one of a multi-step, multifaceted approach to true liberation. There is more to do. And it's here for us to do. Everything in the cosmos, everything in our ancestors, everything in the spirit world is rooting for us. But we have free will, we have free choice. So we have to be able to stand up and say, I accept this assignment. I mean, you could not accept the assignment, but the assignment parameters are still going to be operating in your life. And that won't feel good after a while. If it already hasn't stopped feeling good, you can't avoid it. So nobody can do what you came here to do. Nobody. That's how special you are. And it doesn't have to be big, grandiose, huge things, but whatever piece, there's a very complex interwoven tapestry of creation that's always recreating itself, that's always weaving and reweaving based on the choices and decisions that we make. But it's beautiful, and you are a key critical part of it. And if your thread in that tapestry doesn't show up in the way that the tapestry was designed for you to show up, the tapestry got to find another way. It got to use energy to find another way. And part of that find another way is going to keep tapping you until you get into place so the tapestry could do what it's trying to do. Ooh, they on fire today. Okay, y'all. Okay. Now, and again, the point that they want you to understand is if you don't stand up, If you don't do the work, everybody's going to suffer on some levels. We won't get quite to where we're trying to get to, or it'll take longer, or it'll be harder. If we all working, doing, moving in the same direction of liberation, true soul level liberation, true freedom, there is nothing that we can't do as a people. As a people, meaning Black women, as a people, meaning Black people, as a people, meaning humanity. Because whether the others believe it or not, as again, I'm going to keep quoting Mama Fannie Lou Hamer, until I'm paraphrasing now, until everybody's free, ain't nobody free. So even those who think it's not about them, who are not of the traditionally oppressed groups of people, they're not even free. They're more delusional than anyone else. But we do what we do, not for them, but for the whole of humanity. And if you really want to focus, do what you want to do what you came to do for your people, your family, your bloodline, your lineage. Yes, yes. All right. Whew. Well, I thank you for being here. I thank you for rocking with me. I have no idea how long I've been talking, but ancestors had a thing to say as they celebrate. They always celebrating because there's a level of freedom that they've achieved, but they know there's more to come. But they also always celebrating because while they see the road ahead and what may be some difficult times, they also see what's possible. And so they celebrate and they bring it in because the joy, love, light, all that high vibrational goodness brings in that future, that possibility, that timeline where it is beautiful. And they want us to do the same. So I thank you for being here with me, for rocking with me. And I look forward to talking with you on your vibe check call and working with you in this course if that ends up being something that you want to do in the course or in the coaching or any of the other things. And like I said, it's not all about taking advantage of offerings. There's other things. I have books. Everything that I do is about healing on this beautiful, powerful love channel. The books, the most recent book that I have is an activity book and journal for Black women, and it's Remember Who the Fuck You Are. I didn't even know what they was preparing me for. I wrote that right before or right around the election time. I didn't even know what was coming, but my ancestors knew, and I was just obedient and created the book. So there's that. You can use that to help guide you and bring you back to yourself. There's videos here on YouTube and more to come that will help guide you and bring you back to yourself, including meditations and visualizations. My first book, From Fat, Black, and Unlovable to Beautiful, Powerful Love, that's kind of my origin story. It's a little bit memoir. And then there's some resources there as well. So you got options. That's what my mama used to say. And it's what has kept me and my sisters and my father mentally aligned since she passed away and made her transition. I give thanks to you, Mama. May you continue to rest in power. I give thanks. And she used to say, you got options. And it's real. You have options. So don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Your ancestors ain't giving up on you. I'm not giving up on you. And I can't wait to see what we can do as a collective when everybody, including you, show up as your full, authentic, beautiful, powerful, loving self. Let's say that. So, and with that, I thank you again. And until next time, again, happy Juneteenth and take good care of you. Peace.